Hello everyone, welcome to Physical Chemistry Classroom. Today we are going to discuss solid solutions, distribution law, partition coefficient and its applications. A solution can be defined as a homogeneous mixture in which the atoms or molecules of one substance are dispersed at random into another substance. If this definition is applied to solids, we have a solid solution. A solid solution is a solid state solution of one or more solutes in a solvent. Such a multi-component system is considered a solution rather than a compound when the crystal structure of the solvent remains unchanged by the addition of the solutes and when the chemical components remain in a single homogeneous phase. Examples of solid solutions include crystallized salts from their liquid mixture, metal alloys, moist solids, etc. In case of metal alloys, intermetallic compounds occur frequently. Solid solutions may be of two kinds, substitutional and interstitial solid solutions. A substitutional solid solution results when the solute atom takes up the positions of the solvent in a crystal lattice. An interstitial solid solution is obtained by fitting the solute particles into the space between solvent particles. Both of these types of solid solution affect the properties of the material by distorting the crystal lattice and disrupting the physical and electrical homogeneity of the solvent material. Substitutional solid solutions are formed when radii of component metals are identical or nearly so. X-ray studies reveal that in this type of alloy, atoms of one metal replace those of other at random in space lattice, provided the two metals have the same lattice structure and their atoms do not differ much in size. For instance, the nickel atoms with radii of 1.243 angstrom may be substituted for copper atoms with radii of 1.275 angstrom in cubic close-packed copper crystal in any proportion. In substitutional solid solution, the arrangement of the solute atoms may be random, clustered, or ordered. Some alloy systems exhibit complete solid solubility, example copper nickel or cadmium magnesium. Others show only limited solubility at any temperature. Examples: sterling silver is a substitutional solid solution of silver and copper atoms. Other examples include brass and copper nickel alloys. Next one is interstitial solid solutions. Here small atoms of non-metallic elements like hydrogen, boron, carbon, nitrogen, etc. occupy positions in the interstices of metal lattices. The properties of the parent metal are changed by the presence of these interstitial atoms and the magnitude of the change depends on the type and quantity of interstitial penetration. For example, transition metals like chromium, manganese, iron and molybdenum form a number of compounds like Cr2n, Fe2n, Mn4C, Fe3C, Fe2b, etc. with light elements like hydrogen, boron, carbon, nitrogen, etc. Steel is an interstitial solid solution in which carbon atoms occupy the interstices in the crystal structure of iron. Let us discuss Nernst distribution law. It states that when a solute distributes itself between two non-miscible solvents in contact with each other, there exists for similar molecular species at a given temperature a constant ratio of distribution between the two solvents irrespective of the total amount of the solute and irrespective of any other molecular species that may be present. If a solute X distributes itself between two non-miscible solvents A and B at constant temperature and X is in the same molecular condition in both the solvents, then concentration of X in A divided by concentration of X in B is equal to Kd. If C1 denotes the concentration of the solute X in solvent A and C2 the concentration of solvent in B, then Nernst distribution law can be expressed as C1 by C2 is equal to Kd. The constant Kd is called the distribution coefficient or partition coefficient. And Jungfleisch observed that when solutions of iodine in carbon disulfide of different concentrations were taken with distilled water, the iodine distributed itself among the two solvents in such a way that at a given temperature the ratio of its concentrations in the two layers was constant irrespective of the amount of iodine. That is concentration of iodine in carbon disulfide divided by the concentration of iodine in water equal to C1 by C2 is equal to Kd. This constant Kd is called the partition coefficient or distribution coefficient. Nernst also found that the ratio C1 by C2 remains constant only when the solute has the same molecular species in the two solvents. In other words, the solute should not undergo any association or dissociation in the solvent. Let us see the applications of distribution law. There are numerous applications of distribution law in the laboratory as well as in industry. The most important application of the distribution law is in the process of extraction. The removal of a substance or solute by a solvent of an organic substance from an aqueous solution is called extraction. The very large partition coefficient of most of the organic compounds in favor of the organic solvents is made used for the removal of dissolved organic substances from aqueous solutions with solvents like benzene, ether, chloroform, hexane, ethyl acetate, etc. It is the principles of distribution law which helped us to know that the efficiency of extraction increases on increasing the number of extractions using a small amount of the extracting solvent each time than to use a large volume in a single extraction. The second application is in partition chromatography. This is a modern technique of separating a mixture of small amounts of organic materials. Third is desilverization of lead, that is Parkinson's process. Next is confirmatory test for bromide and iodide. Next application of Nernst distribution law is in the study of association of a solute. If a solute associates in one of the solvents where its concentration is C2 but not in the other where its concentration is C1, then we can write C1 divided by nth root of C2 is equal to Kd. Here n represents the number of simple molecules which combine to form an associated molecule. Next is study of dissociation of a solute. If a solute undergoes dissociation in one of the solvents where its concentration is C2 but not in the other where its concentration is C1, then we can write C1 by C2 into 1 minus alpha is equal to Kd. So if the degree of dissociation alpha of a solute at one concentration is known, then its value at any other concentration can be obtained as Kd is constant. Next application is in the determination of solubility. Next one, deducing the formula of a complex ion. Nernst distribution law can also be applied to find the formula of complex ions formed between bromine and bromide ion as well as that between iodine and iodide ion. Last one is distribution indicators. It is known that iodine distributes itself considerably more in CS2 than in water, that is more in organic solvent than in water, when they are in contact with each other. This enables us titration of an extremely dilute solution of iodine in water by adding 1 or 2 drops of carbon disulfide, that is organic solvent. Limitations of distribution law. The conditions to be satisfied for the application of the Nernst distribution law are constant temperature. The temperature should be kept constant throughout the experiment. Next is same molecular state. The molecular state of the solute has to be the same in the two solvents. The law does not hold if there is association or dissociation of the solute in one of the solvents. Third one is equilibrium concentrations. The concentrations of the solute requires to be noted after the equilibrium has been established. Dilute solutions. Suitable if solute concentration is low in two solvents. The law does not hold when the concentrations are high. Last point is non-miscibility of the solvents. The two solvents should be non-miscible or only slightly soluble in each other. The extent of mutual solubility of the solvents remains unaltered by the addition of a solute to them. Thank you for watching this video.